When it comes to your job, you are exhausted, you feel disconnected, and frankly, you've probably even got to that point where you really don't even care what they do anymore. You just want to get through the day. But getting through the day means that you have to negotiate parts of yourself just to survive, and you are tired of that. If that's you, then those are wake up calls that you cannot keep ignoring. And today I'm going to talk about 3 major signs that tell you it's time to leave corporate. So, whether you're thinking about going up in your organization or shifting into a new career or stepping out into your own purpose led business, then this video is for you. So, let's have a chat. So, sign number 1 that it's time to leave is when you're having to shrink to fit. You previously felt free to contribute, but now you're staying quiet in meetings. You used to take the initiative and volunteer, but now you've stepped back. And you used to be really proud at your work, but now it doesn't fill you up the same way anymore, and you just feel invisible. Any job or situation that requires you to dilute yourself like that is just way too expensive for your mental health. And sadly, they aren't always things that you can just change like that. It could be the culture of the organization, how the leadership is run, and those unspoken rules can chip away slowly at your identity. And that erodes at your confidence, and you start walking on eggshells, and you forget how brilliant you actually are, what you're capable of, what you brought to the job, your skills, your knowledge, your experience. And at that point, it's no longer a job. It's a whole warning sign. Number 2, Sunday fare. So many people talk about this as Sunday night fare, but it's not. It can take in your entire weekend. And I'm talking about that feeling you get on a Sunday when Monday is looming and you either don't want to do anything, or you're feeling stressed, you're feeling anxious, your chest is tightening. You can feel that headache coming on because Monday is right around the corner. And why I say that it takes up your entire weekend is because sometimes it can start from Friday. The weekend is coming and you're not, we talk about TGIF, but you're not really looking forward to the weekend. You're already thinking, oh my goodness, I only have like half a day over the whole weekend, if that. Because Saturday is taken up with chores that you weren't able to do over the weekend, and maybe catch ups and things that you really have to do. And then when it comes to Sunday, you're turning down requests to socialize with friends and family because all you can think about is that you need to recoup and save your energy for Monday and the week ahead. And if you've been getting that Sunday feeling every single week, your body is telling you things that your mind has been ignoring. A job should challenge you, but that feeling you get on a Sunday is your fight or flight response being activated. And if something is activating that response, especially on a regular basis, for now it's weekly, that is not healthy. So if you're constantly counting down till Friday and constantly feeling drained before Monday even starts, then something in you is done. And when your spirit is done, then the rest of you is just following orders. And we know that that's not what you're here for. The third sign is one that people don't talk about enough. And it's when you are just bone tired. And this is tiredness to the point where you know that you are meant for more. You know that you want more. You know that you are capable of more, but you are too exhausted, too tired, too drained to reach out and take what is yours. You're craving meaning and autonomy and freedom in your life, but that exhaustion is even making it exhausting for you to dream about that freedom. And because you haven't moved forward, you're not where you feel you should be, it can create a guilt cycle. It can also make you feel resentment towards your potential that you feel you haven't acted on, and towards others where it looks like they may be moving towards their potential and living their fulfilled life and you're not. But this is where you find yourself, and you tell yourself and others will tell you that you have to be grateful for where you are. And so even thinking about wanting something different and moving forward and knowing that you're meant for more can make you feel like, am I ungrateful for where I am now? But that's not you being ungrateful. That is actually your alignment calling. And the reason why it might feel like that is because you might actually like your work. It's just the conditions under which you have to work that make it difficult. Because most people don't leave their jobs because they hate it. They leave because they outgrew that version of themselves that they can no longer pretend to be. So those are the three main signs that it's time to leave your job. But we know that it's not easy to just hand in your resignation and say that I'm going to start over. You've got bills to pay, you need to eat, and you may have family responsibilities. So what do you do? So here is a 3-step starter plan for you to start living in alignment. So step 1, get honest about where you are. You've been in that job long enough to know that it's not changing. A new manager isn't going to change it. A new head isn't going to change it. The restructure that they keep talking about isn't going to change it. The bonus that they're going to give you isn't going to change it, especially when it's taxed so much that it just makes absolutely no difference. Because the truth is, many of us stayed in those positions because financially it was rewarding. It paid our bills. It helped us live a comfortable life. But there are a couple of questions that you need to ask yourself at this stage. Number 1, what is this job costing me mentally, emotionally, and physically? Number 2, what version of myself am I becoming here? And number 3, if nothing changes, what will this look like in 12 months? Your first act of freedom is awareness. So you need to get clear. So now that you've gotten clear, you want to activate step 2, which is creating a soft escape plan. You know that it's not going to happen straight away. You're not going to just get clarity and it's like, right, I can leave straight away, unless you can. But for most people, you can't. So a soft escape plan looks like updating your CV, identifying the type of work environment you want, exploring roles that might be more aligned to your skills. I always say that you need to do a skills audit. Get a piece of paper, put 3 columns onto it, and write down all of your skills, your knowledge, and your experience. Your next level is sitting within that. If it's entrepreneurship that's calling, start doing research on the business that you really want to get into. And a really important one is to start working on your transition fund, your runway to freedom. At this point, your plan doesn't need to be perfect. And you know what? It never will be. It's all about you starting and making the decision to move forward, because you're not ready when you have all of those things in place, because things like your CV are the things that have been sitting there for the longest while that you haven't wanted to touch. But the minute you start working on those things is when you know you're ready. And step 3, this is about you and what's happening for you internally. You have to reconnect with your worth. Corporate environments are key at distorting what your capability is. You get into those environments, you become your role, you become your job title, and you forget what you're capable of outside of that. So go back to that list that you did in step 2, your skills audit. Look at your skills, your knowledge, and especially your achievements, and remind yourself who you are outside of your corporate job. An exercise that I've asked clients to do that has really helped to remind them who they are and see how they're presenting themselves to others is to email trusted friends or colleagues and to ask them what strengths they see in them. You'll be surprised at what comes back. You'll be surprised at the strengths and the skills that others see in you that you overlook. And actually, when you do that skills audit, have somebody that you can trust look over it, because you'll be surprised how many skills, knowledge, and achievements, things that you've done that you overlook and don't put in. Somebody else would remind you of your accomplishments and achievements. And even yourself, a day or two after, go back to that list and have a look at it, and you'll be surprised what you'll be able to add to it. Also, when it comes to reconnecting with your worth, think about where your energy is going. Think about what you're involved in on a daily, weekly, monthly. We get into the end of the year. What has drained you during this year and what has energized you? What used to fill you up before corporate exhaustion took over? And that's the version of you that you want to reconnect with. And what these 3 steps do is give you the clarity you need, because you cannot make decisions from a place of burnout. You have to make them from a place of clarity. So leaving is one of those things that we don't always consider soon enough, because sometimes it can be seen as a failure when actually it's a boundary, and one of the most powerful boundaries we can implement. It's us reaffirming and confirming that we will no longer allow ourselves to be in spaces that do not fill us up and do not appreciate our worth. Leaving can be one of the most powerful acts of self-respect that you ever make. And I say that for jobs, I say that for relationships, I say that for any environment that you find yourself in where you're having to shrink to fit. So if that resonated for you, I'd love to hear from you. Which of those signs hit home for you? And if you're thinking about transitioning to your next chapter, whether it's your next job or into your own purpose-driven business, you are not alone. I've done it and others too, and I am here to support you every step of the way. So if you've got any questions on transitioning, surviving corporate, and what that looks like for you, feel free to leave in the comments or send me a message. And until the next video, bye.